I spent some time up on the Farne Islands at Longston, and on an ebb tide, on a spring tide, that's when the tide disappears forever, one of the pastimes was collecting lobsters from the very low water mark. And I was out scavenging lobsters one day, on a calm day, nice day as well. And suddenly I heard a roar of sound, turned around and thought, that's unusual. And a wall of water, it was a freak wave. Now, I've been associated with the sea for over 40 years, never believed in a freak wave until that day. And that wave hit me. I just lay across a rock and hung on like hell. When I got back to the lighthouse, wringing wet, my colleagues just laughed and thought I'd fallen in the water. When I was looking through the records, say a couple of weeks later, I found a reference to a similar situation about 15 years prior, and that a man had actually been lost in exactly the same place, exactly the same situation. A freak wave had carried him away.
We were on Bishop. It was my first turn off there as PK, and it was the Christmas. And we were there for the Christmas and the New Year. Really bad storm, southerly storm. We don't get many southerlies, but southerly storm for about 3 days. When the sea hits the tower, the tower trembles. Yeah. It's designed to tremble, so you don't worry about it. But we got hit by a sea, and it trembled, and it used to tremble for about 4 or 5 seconds, didn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
But whilst it was trembling, we got hit by a second sea.
Yeah. Oh my word, yeah.
And it didn't tremble.
It was getting a bit
shook.
Yeah.
All the alarms started going off. We thought, oh God, what's going on? When we got up into the lantern was awash with mercury.
Yeah. Oh yeah, crikey.
The shaking had shook the mercury out of the trough.
Yeah.
The lens floated on mercury. Mercury was in a bath. We went down. We got our spacesuits on and the masks and all that. The only thing we could do was sweep the mercury up with a dustpan and brush, right? Pour it into an enamel bucket, and when we got about half a bucket full, because that took 2 of you to lift it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
put some muslin over the
filler cap,
and pour it back in.
Yeah.
It took us about, I don't know, if I say an hour, it might have been 2 hours before we'd got enough mercury back in the trough to raise it off the rollers.
So it would move.
So that it would move again.
Crikey.
Anyway, luckily it was like 2 days to the relief.
Oh yeah.
So we come ashore on the relief, and they sent out a team of cleaners with all the proper gear to do it, because the mercury had also contaminated the kitchen water.
Domestic
water.
The
domestic water contaminated the domestic, because the domestic water tanks were under the.
Yes, that's right. They were.
Under the floor. So we got ashore, and they said, "Oh, you three ain't going anywhere." Oh, why's that then? Here's one for you, one for you, one for you, and we all had to give urine samples.
Oh, yeah.
And it turned out we were about 230, 240 reading, something like that.
Oh.
Apparently, the normal reading for everybody is about 25 to 30.
Yeah. Slightly out then.
So even with the masks and all that, we were still contaminated. And it took us all 12 months to get back down to 25, 30.
Oh, okay.